let's quickly mention about Activision Blizzard. So before I continue, I just want to bitch. Well, speaking of bitching, let me bitch about this.
Let's get on with it.
Let's fucking get on. Go. All right. So Activision Blizzard. So Ray, I'm gonna say straight away, I give up. I give up. Like, there's no point fighting.
Don't we all?
There's no point fighting. It's just, you know what? Join the group. Take out your wallet, join the group. Fuck all. It doesn't matter.
Just pay the Pied Piper and call it good.
I'm done. I'm done. The CEO wants a new yacht. That's fine. Take my money. It doesn't matter what I do. It's fuck you.
The world's fucked anyway.
Yeah, might as well.
I'm sorry. Are we going full nihilist right now? Yeah, we're fucked regardless.
I'm just like, I give up.
We opened this podcast up bitching about how hot it is outside, and now here we are just going full nihilist.
Yeah, so
fuck it all.
So the reason I give up and I don't give a shit anymore, might as well join everyone else, because gamers are fucking just like have no self-control whatsoever. So before I continue, guess how much money Activision Blizzard made in the last 6 months.
I mean, in 6 months.
You probably already saw the notes anyway. You probably saw the notes anyway. So
yeah, I'm looking at it in the notes. But like, if you would have asked me without understanding, I probably would have been somewhere in the aspect of about like maybe $1 billion or so, and I would have been way off. Like, fucking console division alone did better than that, and here's the numbers: $3 billion in 6 months. 6 months, and I'm assuming that that's not gross revenue. That's profit.
No, I think that's gross revenue.
It's gross revenue.
I think that's gross revenue, yeah.
Okay, gross revenue.
I think I'm not
for
sure.
Those that don't know.
I'm not sure, but that's how much they made. I don't know about it's the profit on it, but that's how much they made in the last 6 months.
Correct. For those that are unfamiliar with the term gross revenue states that is the money that is made before expenses and taxes are taken into consideration.
They don't fucking pay taxes.
No.
That's why they're pitching a fit right now, because nobody's working, because nobody wants to go and work at the fucking studios and everything right now. Like, they're pissed because the fucking commercial real estate market is collapsing. Let me shed a tear real quick. Hang on, I'll try.
Anyway, so mobile.
The amount of money that these motherfuckers made. All titles, this does not only just stipulate Call of Duty, okay? So Mobile Division at the top made $1.9 billion. That doesn't shock me. Mobile market is just a cash cow, period. Has been. PC, $1.25 billion. Consoles, $1.19 billion. And a decline in active monthly users, amazingly, which means that individual player expenditures went up. So basically, probably what happened is they introduced a lot more loot box mechanics. They changed prices around. They put a lot of more higher end premium content out, quote unquote, in order to entice what big spenders or whales, as they refer them to.
Yeah, the idea I'm getting is that the hardcore players that are still playing, myself.
You look at that. That's really only 20 million players that they've lost. So it's probably just the people that, they hopped in, played a game for a little bit, farted around and went, this ain't my cup of tea, or they beat it, or they got to a point where they just didn't care anymore and walked away from it. Still retaining 92 million out of 112.
Yeah, still a big play.
That's like over 80% retention, so I can't really shit on that.
Yeah, so that's before I'm gonna rant about stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter what Reddit says. It doesn't matter what Twitter says or anyone else. It doesn't matter. There's a boycott. Who gives a shit? There's gonna be someone spending. Speaking of, I actually know 2 people that keep spending money on fucking bundles in Modern Warfare 2.
Wait, hold on.
Stop.
I just did some math real quick. Now you want to hear something fucking crazy? For them to generate that kind of revenue. Now, this was just an average quick calculation, okay? So basically what I did was I took $3 billion and divided that by the 92 current user base, million user base. Do you want to know what the average spend was?
What?
Per user? $32.
Yeah.
30. That is a base. Now, consider there are people who spend substantially more money than that. Yeah. There are probably free-to-play apps that they have out that people don't spend money on. So that's not saying that's what everybody kicked in. That is what the metrics would come out to be. Everybody spent that dollar amount one time over the last 6 months to generate that revenue.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah.
That's not even the cost of buying in a video game at $70 these days. So that's what's crazy.
Yeah, so that $32. Yeah, that makes sense because Yeah, that would be average. That's actually a reasonable average. When I compare our group, me, my girlfriend, Mixie, Snook, Adrian, whatever. Now that sounds about right, actually. Anyways, but also,
but again, keep in mind, free to play. If they have anything that's free to play, it offsets that badly. That's what's offsetting that so much. So people who think like, well, that's not even the full price for a video game. Like fucking Overwatch was more expensive than that. How is that even possible? Again, they probably have free to play games out there that user base counts in, but they don't spend money. Yeah,
that too. But also, just on cherry on top, apparently the last season for Modern Warfare 2 was the highest microtransaction revenue they ever got for that game. And remember when I talked about the Black Cell bundles, like they removed that expensive Battle Pass bundle and introduced the real money $30 bundle, right?
God. Yeah.
So that shit's selling so fucking well.
I bet.
Yeah, it's the best thing ever, and I fucking hate it. Fuck you, gamers. That being said, the reason why I mentioned this is because just to remember those numbers. Remember, Activision is doing well, and the reason I want to give up is because they shutting down Warzone 1 servers. So for anyone that haven't played Call of Duty and has no idea what's happening with Call of Duty.
Yeah, I'm not laughing at the fact that a game's shutting down and it's Call of Duty. Please don't think that's why I'm laughing. I'm laughing at the fact that they made this amount of money per player and they're still cutting fucking costs.
Yeah, so the reason...
That's the part, and people are getting fired too.
No, the reason why I'm hating all of this is because it's not because they made loads of money, it's not because they're shutting down the servers or whatever. I am mostly mad because they don't have a vision. And of course, who the fuck I'm talking about? Like some random guy on the podcast saying, well, they made billions of dollars. What do you fucking know? The point is, they have the capabilities to create something amazing and, create a legacy,
We know they're better than this.
Yeah, they're better than this. And they can still make loads of money. More, actually. Much more. It's because, okay, so Warzone 1, right? Modern Warfare 2.19 came out. And it came with Warzone a couple of months later. Warzone was such a phenomenon and it came out at the right time, at the right place, right time. That moment, everyone were at home. The game was great. It was such a fantastic experience because everyone were playing it. It was such a fantastic experience. It made my girlfriend, who doesn't play first-person shooters, play religiously with us. That never happened to anyone. Warzone 1 was such a magical moment in gaming history. It will never be replicated. The map was perfect, the game was perfect. Yeah, of course, bugs and imbalances. Of course, it happens with every game. But
the seas parted and the clouds opened up and a bright shining light descended from the heavens, and upon the hand of it was Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah, it was a fantastic magical moment. I'm sorry, you will never able to replicate it. Unless a perfect Battlefield game comes out, but we know that's not happening. But anyway, so it was...
Not such was seen since Halo 2!
So anyway, the reason why I'm so mad is because... So, they realized they have something magical at their hands. They found a gold mine. They discovered a fucking gold mine. But Activision is so short-sighted about everything. They did not think this through. As soon as they realized what kind of success Warzone is, they shoehorned the next games into the Warzone application, and of course, 3 years later, it's a bloated mess with so many guns, so many skins, and so on, whatever. And of course, you don't have to buy the games themselves individually, because Warzone was free. So if you want the skin or whatever from a particular game, you can always buy it from the store, and it's fine. You can always do that. So they just, instead of planning the game, okay, so we have this success, right? I understand you probably did not plan for Warzone to be such a success. You cannot support this game for a really long time, lack of memory and so on, because you never know how game development works, right? I understand. Maybe you had no time to perfect it, but they still shoehorned the guns from other games and so on. And 3 years later, they announced a sequel to, Modern Warfare 2 is coming out, Warzone 2 is coming out too. So okay, so we learned our lessons. This is gonna be a fresh new start. We know how Warzone is popular and how successful it is. This is a fresh new start. No skins or bundles will transfer to the next game because we want a fresh new start and we want to build on that and we want to keep Warzone 2 not forever, but as long as possible, right? That was the idea, at least.
Yeah, makes sense.
That was the idea. So no bundles, no nothing transferred to the next game. Because everyone was expecting Warzone will stay here forever, for obvious reasons, because it's like, Fortnite or Apex Legends, free to play, you kind of need to support that. No, okay, fine. Understandable excuse. Warzone 2 came out. Regardless of what we think about the game, that's not the point. It's just the fact that they renamed Warzone 2 to Warzone 1, not Warzone 1, just Warzone, right, as the original one. And they're shutting down Warzone 1 servers in September. And I'm just like... it's just... They don't have... and because they're doing that, that means you can release Warzone 3. I was already not a fan that they're releasing Warzone 2, but I kind of get the excuse. It's just... It gives me the idea that, what's stopping you from releasing Warzone 3 next year? What's the
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, well,
absolutely nothing.
Yeah, because you're shutting down the servers so quickly. This is only the second game in their history they're shutting down officially. It was Call of Duty Mobile in China, and this.
Call of Duty is no stranger to yearly releases, and it's not, it never has been. At one point it wasn't, and it was doing well, and now what did they do? They fell back into old habits. I'm not surprised. I was expecting this. I was actually amazed that this went on as long as it did. I'm being perfectly honest.
Just because they're shutting down Warzone 1 servers, to me it's just
they got new stuff coming out, and they want to force the player bases onto these new things so that they can continue to make money. It's an ever-ending chase for rapid, expensive growth, and it's not sustainable.
You could just keep it a bit longer, at least, or something, But because they did it so fast, I'm like, I mean, okay, one positive.
But that's why I don't trust a lot of these live service games. I really don't. It's hard to trust them. Unless you know for a fact that is the only thing that if you're playing a live, let me put it this way. This is what makes me determine whether I want to invest time or money or effort into any live service game, okay? If the live service game in question is the only fucking thing that studio is working on, period, point blank, end of story, I will seriously consider investing in it. Why? Because it's not that real life meme of one dude walking down the street with his girlfriend and looking at another chick. Okay? That is what's going on with Activision at Call of Duty. Activision is constantly working on other shit. Constantly. So I don't see any reason to invest any kind of time or effort into any big budget major AAA a live service game. Because at any given point, they can just go, we don't want to do this anymore. We can get away with not doing this anymore, so we're gonna not do it anymore. Fuck you, buy the next iteration. Whereas the studio that is only working on that one project, that's their bread and butter. They're going to keep it going. They're going to work on it. Cryptic, with the fucking Star Trek Online game. That shit's going on for, what, a decade now. It's their bread and butter. It's still going. Arguably, it's not what it once was. Arguably, it's not the best thing in the fucking world. But they're making money off of it. They're doing well enough in order to keep it going. Why hasn't anybody else learned this? Could you imagine if if a live service Call of Duty title went for 10 years?
I would love to.
That would be great. Fuck, I've been wishing that Battlefield would fucking do it. Would quit fucking around and do it. 2042 could have been that.
I mean,
they could have had a decade-long live service title. And they don't. Nope, not gonna fucking happen.
I can see the arguments people saying well, you want to play the same game forever. No, I understand you need to refresh it to stay alive and so on. But look at Fortnite. They changed the mechanics, they changed the looks and so on. They changed as much as they can while keeping it still Fortnite. Fortnite we play today is nothing like the Fortnite when it originally came out. Not even bloody close. Completely different game.
It prints money. It fucking prints
but
money.
But there's a reason why it prints money, because they actually remain consistent while adding something new and improving the game as time goes on.
And their player base trusts Epic now because what else is Epic doing? The player base trusts them enough that they're going to keep this going. This is like, Quake. Quake tournaments back in the day. Fortnite has become this generation's Quake. I hate saying it, but it's the fucking truth. It's endured. Why? Because of these reasons. They've adjusted. They adjusted this game, and they maintained and kept appeasing their core player base. Call of Duty hasn't learned this fucking lesson. Every time you put a different iteration of another game out, and I'm sorry I sound a little bit squeaky. It's the tiredness is starting to kick back in. Every time you have to put another iteration out yearly, you're basically saying, just buy my goddamn product. Don't put any time in it. Don't put any effort into it because I'm going to take it away from you or ask you to pay for it again. And in some ways, I can make you change over if you want to continue playing my game vis-a-vis shutting down servers and therefore making all of your time and everything you've done useless. And now you have to start back at square one again. That doesn't jive well with some people. I don't really like that very much. With a single-player game, I can understand that because you're telling me a story. But with a multiplayer game where I have to constantly build up progression and I have to build and build and build and build and build and you're insisting that I grind and grind and grind and grind and grind, why?
Well, what's funny? We have the facts now that Activision was actually thinking skipping a year and maybe switch the Call of Duty to 2-year titles because...
I think they need to be 5-year titles.
Maybe. And we knew that was the plan originally because, the rumors started coming out, Modern Warfare, they're skipping a year, Modern Warfare 2 will get expansion instead, right? Because the original, a document, something like that. You know how in investor scrolls, you say, premium title coming out 20x something, right?
Yeah, you're throwing out buzzwords to get shareholders excited.
Yeah, and back then there was an article where it mentioned premium content coming, so we and of course leaks came out and everything. They were supposed to skip this year and remove expansion pack for this current game. In a sense, it's happening because the next game for the Modern Warfare 3 leaked, Modern Warfare 3, whatever, right? Will carry over all your bundles, your guns, and everything to the next game, which never happened in any Call of Duty game or any triple shooter as I can remember. New game gets all your old content from a previous game. Never happened.
Good.
But this only confirms that. But instead of something's not going well or whatever, we have to make this into a full-fledged game, even though it's an expansion. So in a sense, they're not wrong and they're not lying, but at the same time, you kind of are. It's such a tricky situation, I guess, for them. We is an expansion, but we want to sell it as a $70 premium content title or whatever you want to call it. I'm glad all my stuff we bought in this game will transfer. Good. I mean, sure, I spent I think $30 on this game, and that's over the last 7-8 months. Okay, cool. I'm glad my stuff, all the weapons unlocks and everything will transfer. Good. But I think you would imagine they learned their lesson, right? No, I think this is just damage control because I can assure you none of this will be all this transfer to the next game. I can assure none of it will be transfer to the next game that is coming out in a year. That Treyarch one, 2024. I mean, granted, different games and so on. I do not expect this to be a regular thing with each Call of Duty. But just because I know they're shutting down Warzone 1 servers and how they treated Warzone 1 in the first place, I'm they don't see the long-term potential. Even it's at their fingertips. They feel it. They found the gold. You can abuse this gold for many, many years, still make loads of money, but they're so short-sighted. They'll rather destroy the gold, fully, so no one can else use it and make, find another gold mine or something like that. It's just why? You have it here. It's on your, You're holding it.
It's called hoarding.
Yeah, you're holding it. You have it. Abuse this. You use this gold to make more money. You have a fucking gold mine right here, but somehow you don't want to use that gold mine. You want to destroy it so no one else gets it or something. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like so short-sighted. It so pisses me off.
It's a typical mentality that comes with hardcore profit drive. That's just all it is to it. Like you get so focused on making the money that you forget what the fuck it is that you originally set out to intend in order to do, and that's what money does. I mean, there's so many tales and so many stories that we've constantly told of the fallacies of being excessively fucking greedy, and we're living in a day and age where excessive greed has arguably fucked a lot of us over in life. It's not a foreign concept. I guess we're all just become callous to it now, sadly.
So that's what I'm saying. I give up. You know what? Just yesterday, Call of Duty released a cat skin. You remember that soldier with the cat face?
God, yeah.
It came out, and okay, I have to admit, it does look cute. Okay, that looks good. It looks cute. Okay.
Yeah,
and because I know it's transferred to the next game, I'm considering now, like, oh, well, I can use it for another year because I know I can use it in the next game. I'm like, oh, I haven't bought yet because I'm controlling myself. I learned my lesson, but like, it's just, I give up.
Do I wanna?
Yeah, like, who cares? Like, it's fine. You know what? I'll support Mr. Bobby Kotick and his fucked up lifestyle, and I'll fund his fucking yacht. You know what? I give up. I'll give up.
I won't. I'll just be stingy with my money now.
I'm done. I'm so fucking done. Yeah, I'm so done with AAA. Like, I'm just waiting for the bubble to burst because at one point it just becomes unsustainable. I can't fucking speak. It's just like, you know what? I think we've already
kind of hit that point.
Yeah, take my money.
I think that point is finally just like here, where they've beat all of this monetization shit into our heads over the last 20 some years now, and there's now a whole generation of gamers that grew up with this shit, so they think this is normal now. It's not. This was not the way it was back in the day. Back in the day, you'd buy a product, it was a good product, and you could play it forever, indefinitely. I could go dig out my old Nintendo from like the early 90s, both my SNES and my regular NES, and I can plug a cartridge into that bitch and fire it up and it'll work. And I don't have to deal with sign-ins or any of this garbage. Or updates.
What's funny?
I don't have to put a fucking, I mean, even let's go all the way up to PlayStation 2. I could still go out, buy a PlayStation 2, and play my games. And they weren't online exclusives. They didn't require accounts. Oh my God, it was such a beautiful time. I tell you, little Timmy, you missed it.
You know what's funny these days? If you have a default skin, right, your regular default skin, sometimes it's a flex by itself these days. I bought the game, I never bought anything else. I just have this...
But I didn't pay for shit.
Yeah, I have this generic soldier and I'm kicking your ass. Sometimes that's a flex. In Fortnite, for example, some people run default, free-to-play skin just, because they want to flex on
walls.
You. Oh, look at you. You bought this skin and I'm kicking your ass with the,
Ha ha ha, nerd, you spent all this money and you still suck.
Yeah, well, welcome to the child mentality, right? It is a child mentality, but I just find it funny. But yeah, it's just, I give up. You know what? What's the point fighting? What's the point bitching about this? Microsoft owns Activision Blizzard now, and I don't know if everything is gonna change. I mean, all Call of Duty games and all other games, whatever, are coming to Game Pass, so that's good news, I guess. So if you want to play lots of games, good games, for $10 a month, enjoy it, because I think that's the most consumer-friendly thing ever.
Oh yeah, I fucking love Game Pass.
Oh, Game Pass is fucking fantastic, yeah.
That's the best idea ever. That's great. Netflix for video games.
Oh
my God, don't fuck with the price. Just fucking leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't fuck with it.
I'm so glad that City Skylines 2 is coming on Game Pass on day one. I'm like, yes, baby. I am so playing that.
Come to daddy.
I
will disappear for days.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this on the podcast. I did skip work once because I was playing City Skylines the whole bloody night. So like, I'm sorry I can't come in. I'm sick.
Can't come in. I'm busy getting my plumbing system settled.
Yeah, and then as I wake up, play some more at 10 a.m. in the morning.
But that's an awesome thing though, because like there are games on Game Pass that my wife and I play together, and it's great. It's a venue of entertainment for us, and it is very consumer friendly, and I applaud the shit out of it. I hope it doesn't change. I hope it stays the way that it is, because it's one of the few good shining lights in this whole goddamn environment that's not friendly to consumers whatsoever anymore. Period. Like, I don't give a shit where you go, what you buy, anything these days. Like, it's not a damn thing made these days in order to make you happy. It's just there in order to take your money, and that's it. And they figured out how to do it very well. And it's worse in video games because you have nothing physical anymore. You don't tangibly own it. And
people
shed a tear for the
people
years
really
that have gone by.
people really forget that like, we actually don't own our games. It's literally we buy a license to play it.
Because if they can flip a switch and shut it off and lock you out of it,
well, Warzone 1, yeah. I mean, for example,
do you really own it? You're renting it. You rented it for that time.
Yeah. So it just gives them more opportunities to shut it down. But again, like, you know what? I don't care that you're shutting down the servers. I don't care. It's fine. Okay, you can't afford it, whatever business plans, whatever the reason is, right?
They can't afford it.
Yeah, whatever the reason is, I don't give a shit. Whatever reason Mr. Bobby Kotick Big Dick Energy is giving me, I don't give a shit. Fuck him, actually. Fuck Bobby Kotick. But that's not the point. I don't give a damn. Whatever game, Bad Company 2 or whatever. Like, I don't care what game. But give me tools to support those servers. Give me something. Okay, shutting down the game servers. Cool. Can you give me the tools to keep those servers somehow alive for my personal use?
Yeah, could I maybe rent server space from a different company on my own dime, and maybe my own gaming community supports it, and I can therefore keep your product going? I mean, granted, you're not going to have the stores alive, so you can't make any money off of it anymore, and I'm not really doing anything except for, taking donations to keep a server going for extended length of time, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I don't understand why gaming companies, if you guys are that damn nitpicky about the income, then stop shutting the shit down. Seriously.
Yeah, like okay, you want to make sure that your game is being sold on still. I'm sure. Keep it on the store. That's fine. As long as just, there's a explanation like, the servers don't work anymore. You will get any official servers, but community run servers are there just in case you want to play.
Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, 1942.
Yeah, it's not perfect.
Prime examples. And they're still going.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Community run servers are not going to be perfect all the fucking time because, for example, when you want to play a specific map on a specific mode, you're probably not going to get...
Your chances of finding that are going to be slim to nil.
I get.
But you can still play the goddamn game.
Yeah, you can still play the game, And I don't know how by law they could do that, but I would love to see what games like, you know what, we're shutting down the servers. Here's some limited tools just to keep the servers up. I'm pretty sure you'll be fine. As long as your security is fine, I see no problem. Well, we don't see the problem because we want that. But I just want, give me the tools then.
I don't get it either. I don't get the reasoning behind it. I don't understand why such things were things of the past. But not necessarily, because there's a lot of indie games that do that they have multiplayer that is just strictly community run. That's it. Empyrean is a game that is one. There's 2 official servers that are put up by the game developer, and that's it. The rest of it's all community driven, and that's a good thing. Unturned does that exact same thing. Fucking Altus.
Oh, yeah.
That's a prime example of a game, being 100% community ran and still thriving and doing well in its own right and arguably well. I don't understand why these companies don't think that doing such things is a good idea. I wish they would just come around to it again and understand that, we pay for these products, we get invested in them, and it's really shitty. It's almost borderline abusive to just let us put all of this time and effort and energy into something to just outright take it away and say the only way you can continue is if you buy the new shiny thing. And I will always fall back on games that to this day I can still go back and play, and that are still supported because the developers were nice enough to put the tools out there. Skyrim, as much as everybody wants to rip on it, it's as popular as it is because not only was it very open-ended, but Bethesda let the community modify it. Fallout 4.
The modes alone keep the game fucking running.
Exactly. One of the reasons why Fallout 76 sucks so bad is not just because it was made by Bethesda and because it's fucking microtransaction to hell and back again, but because the community can't essentially do anything with it except for run servers. And they're probably still Bethesda-provided servers. I don't think 76 has fucking community-driven servers. If they do, please leave a comment and let me know if I'm wrong. But still, I don't foresee 76 lasting as long as Fallout 4 is, or Skyrim. Or, I mean, hell, even a game that I used to do mods for, Star Trek Bridge Commander. That modding community is still going strong. And I haven't been a part of that modding community a lot for over 15 years now. That's fucking saying some shit. Because back in the day, I think it was Activision that made that game, they put the tools out there to continue to modify the game and build it and grow it.